And now we come to my conclusion for discussion topic number 6 for the first part. And of course, the basis for relating kāya, vacī and manosaṅkhāra to the law of kamma, I think is already stated right at the beginning of section 6 in that sutta. That sutta talks about dark kamma, bright kamma, dark and bright kamma, and neither dark nor bright kamma. But I've just extracted one part of it because that's the most comprehensive part, that it includes all the elements that I want to show you. And of course, we all know that there's this famous utterance of the Buddha, where the Buddha said in Anguttara Nikaya, Book of 6, Sutta number 63, which is not given in your handout, where the monk said that volition or intention is kamma. Having intended, one performs kamma through body, speech, and mind. The second part of discussion topic number 6 asks you whether there's any similarities or differences between cittasaṅkhāra found in sections 1, 4, and 5 and manosaṅkhāra found in section 6. We already saw that in section 1, which deals with the law of dependent origination, the cittasaṅkhāra is concerned with mental volitional formations leading to rebirth only, not to other mental volitional formations which do not lead to rebirth. Whereas in section 4 and 5, it is not talking about volition at all, it is talking about vedana and sañña, feeling and perception, which are non-volitional in nature. Although the same word is used, it has different meanings according to context. The difference is really quite vast because one is active saṅkhāra and the other one is passive saṅkhāra. In section 6, the mental volitional formations leading to painful or pleasant results could be in this very life or in the hereafter. So here it is volitional in nature. This is the active saṅkhāra, but this active saṅkhāra will give rise to results either in this life or in the hereafter, whereas in section 1, it will only give rise to future rebirth, or what will happen in the future. I also want to bring your attention to this particular sutta, Bhūmija Sutta, in section 6, where the translation can be a bit misleading. This is the Bhūmija Sutta SN 12.25. If you look here, I have highlighted the word here, Sampajāno. This is translated as deliberately. Here in the English it says either deliberately one generates the bodily volitional formation, or undeliberately one generates that bodily volitional formation. So this seems to be a self-contradiction, because in English we understand deliberate to mean with volition, right? So how can you do something undeliberately and yet create a bodily volitional formation? Somebody asked this in one previous workshop. When I looked at the Pali, then it became clear to me that this word deliberately is a translation of the Pali word Sampajāno. Sampajāno here refers to clearly knowing. Clearly knowing, you generate a bodily volitional formation. Or asampajāno, not clearly knowing, you generate the bodily volitional formation. What does it mean? Clearly knowing and not clearly knowing means that you are clearly aware of the consequences, or you are not clearly aware of the consequences. For example, you kill a cockroach, and you might have the idea that killing a cockroach is okay because it's a pest, it could cause disease, or killing a mosquito, it could cause dengue, it could cause chikungunya, and for the good of the many, you should kill it, and it doesn't constitute any bad karma. That is doing it with volition and yet unknowingly, not knowing the actual consequences of it, ignorant of the actual consequences of killing. Or you could be walking and then you step on an ant or a huge centipede. Now, when you're walking, there is volition involved, correct? In lifting and placing your feet. You may not be aware that you're stepping on it, but actually, there is volition involved. Unknowingly, you don't know that you're stepping on a centipede, but there's a volition involved in stepping on a centipede. So, what will happen? I would think, although this is not stated in the sutta explicitly, I would think that in such a case, although there is no intention to kill, but there is intention to walk, to place your foot, and unknowingly, not clearly knowing, you put your foot on a centipede. So you kill that thing. This may not qualify to be kamma that can lead to consequences in the lower realm. Because any intentional breach of the first precept of killing, which means to say you must satisfy all the conditions. You know that there's a living being there is the intention of wanting to kill it, and then you exert the effort and the being dies through that effort. Now, if all these four factors are satisfied, then you create a kamma that has the potential of creating rebirth in the woeful realm. Potential, doesn't mean that it will. The potential is there. However, in this case, you are stepping on that centipede unknowingly, without intention to kill, but actually there is a volition involved in moving your legs and you step on it. This will not satisfy the condition for creating the karmic potential to give result in the lower realms. However, it is an injurious kamma that will result in pain. Maybe next time you are bitten by a centipede or you experience some painful sensation somehow. But this experiencing of the pain is not as bad as experiencing pain in the lower realms, being reborn there and experiencing the pain and reaping the karmic results. I believe that there is some degree of correspondence, even though the gravity may differ. The next part of discussion topic number 6 is the Saṅkhāra in DN 33 and SN 12.51, related to that in extractions 1 and 2. Yeah, of course they are. As somebody pointed out, SN 12.51 is just an elaboration of the listing that was given in DN 33. If you look in the Pali, they are basically the same, but because it is translated into English, they look a bit different. The first part of 7, discussion topic number 7, talking about the manosaṅkhāra in section 8, in the case of a person who can read the mind of someone who is in the jhanic state without thought and examination, second jhana and above. The miracle is that this person who is in that jhanic state, who is in that meditative state, does not have any thought or examination. No thinking at all. And yet, this person, this mind reader, can predict very accurately what this person will think about when he comes out of that jhana. Well, that's the miracle of it. Because, right, how is he able to predict that? Because he's looking at the manosaṅkhāra. And that manosaṅkhāra refers to the mental makeup as a whole, the mindset of this person, his tendencies and inclinations, the past conditioning and all that, and how that will bring about the first thought after he arises from that thought-free meditative state. Whereas in section 6, it is very clear that these refer to mental volitional formations in particular, not the makeup of the mind as a whole, not the mindset of a person. That is the difference. In the second part of discussion topic number 7, is there a common thread for usage of Saṅkhāra? Right at the very beginning, in the introduction in my handout, I've already stated very clearly that Saṅkhāra is made out of Saṅkaroti, which is a product of causes and conditions. So that is the main common thread. Whether it's volitional or not, all saṅkhāras are products of causes and conditions. That is the most common trait. To say that volition is a common trait cannot be correct, because there are instances when saṅkhāra is used and it is not volitional in nature. But whether it's volitional or not, all saṅkhāras are products of causes and conditions. That is a common trait. What is the generic translation for saṅkhāra? Is there one single word that can fit into all the contexts? Instead of using so many words that sometimes we get confused when we just read the English translation without looking at the Pali. For me, my personal preference, as I mentioned earlier, is construction. The word construction is very neat and very elegant, because construction can be passive or it can be active, depending on what is the context. You can say that there's ongoing construction going on in this building site. It is something that's going on. Or you could say it's a construction, something that has already been constructed. But I would hesitate to use the word construct, because the word construct normally means something that you construe in your mind, and it's only something mental. Whereas construction can refer to anything physical or non-physical, anything that is a product of causes and conditions. It is also very easy to use because it's a single word. For instance, in section 2, where the definition of saṅkhāra is defined as the volitional mental formations. Volitional mental formations, volitionally formed volitional formation as volitional formation. This is really a whole string of words and will make you very confused. But if you use the word construction and its various forms, you could say constructions, construct, constructed, constructions. And it's very neat and tidy and very elegant. You cannot use a whole mouthful, a whole string of words to translate for saṅkhāra, because when it comes to the adjective and the verb, then you'll get into trouble. It becomes very unwieldy and cumbersome.